Welcome, Telltellers. Today's episode is a fantastic no-sleep story. Imagine a creature that you couldn't see, and let's imagine that it protected you. Well, let's just say, in this story by our Tellteller NotReady2Adult, that creature isn't imaginary, and although it protects our protagonist, at what cost? Speaking of cost, this channel is free, and always will be. But you know what makes this channel shine? You fans and Telltellers. So it's time for shoutouts. Troy Shaw, the fan king, always supporting, listening, liking, and highlighting when there's an odd audio skip. You see what I did there? Here I am thinking he's got his finger over the comment button. Just thinking, maybe I should tell him. But in all seriousness, your comments are helping a lot. I can go back and resolve old audio clips, so thanks a lot, buddy. You are fantastic, mate. Blackport360, loving the likes and your ongoing support. Thank you so much. The Mastercraft. Yes, you. Thanks for supporting this channel, and I'm looking forward to the story you're sending my way. That goes for all Telltellers. If you have a story, send it to me. I always pay attention and respond. Quasar Bolt. Thank you for the follow and like, you legend. The Mad Catter, a voiceover actor and podcaster just like me, who does a damn good job on bringing characters to life. Check out his channel as well. Wendell Hannah, cheers for the follow. Godwin the Fresh, fantastic name. Mr. Boomtown, The Doubt 3, all fantastic names. And of course, the Crazy Town podcast, who constantly supports this channel. If you like hearing weird and wacky stuff in a hilarious way, this is the podcast for you. Give them a shot. Okay, Telltellers, one more thing. If you've had a shit day, take a deep breath and let me help you forget about it, okay? You're here to relax and listen to a story. So turn the lights off, the sound up, and get ready for something different. The title of this story is, I Wish My Guardian Angel Would Choose Someone Else. Your Tellteller, NotReady2Adult. Most people believe guardian angels are just a myth, but I'm convinced that I have one, and that it takes its job far too seriously. At first it was something I relied on, an unseen protector that kept me safe from my father. Perhaps I should back up the story and tell you just a bit about the first 2 times I found my life irreparably altered by my guardian angel. It was about my 5th birthday, and my father had come home well after the end of my party, to which no one came. He was already drunk and angry. He'd always been mean, overwhelmingly bitter drunk, but this was the first time he ever looked at me, at his own daughter, with such pure, murderous hatred. I don't know what I did to set him off, and I'll admit most of the attack is a blur now, but it felt as if he had me pinned to the wall, choking my tiny neck and screaming with alcohol breath into my face. Just as my vision began to go black, I felt the strength leave my limbs. Something moved from above us. I don't remember seeing anything, but I could somehow feel it the moment my guardian entered the room. It descended onto my father's head from above, knocking him to the floor and away from me. I struck the floor fairly hard, and I think I blacked out for a minute because the next thing I remember is opening my eyes and gasping in painful lungfuls of air. Laying on the floor beside me, cold as ice and rigid, was my dead father, his forehead caved inward by some intensely strong blow. I actually spent a few weeks in a psychiatric hospital after that day, while the police investigated my father's sudden violent death. Fortunately, it was clear I was too small and injured to make such a blow, and I was released to my mother. Fast forward 5 years, and I was a fairly average 10-year-old. I still visited a therapist, Mr. Darkley, once a week for 2 hours because of that day years ago. It was a month after my birthday that I met my guardian a second time, this time when it saved me from a burglar. I came home from school to find the front door ajar by an inch and shrugged it off as my ditzy mother forgetting to shut it. Following the death of my abusive father, she'd become the most caring, amazing mother I'd ever known, and we were very close. However, it was clear that something much worse was happening when I stepped through the door. On the floor, glass and broken dishes were everywhere from someone going through the cabinets. Silverware, dish rags, and even food from our fridge also lies strewn about. as if the intruder didn't know what he was looking for. I don't know why I didn't turn and run. Maybe because I thought the intruder had already left, and instead moved deeper into the house. The front door opened into the kitchen and living room, two parts of our small 2-bedroom home that were actually all one room, with the only separation a transition from carpet to tile. Directly across was the small hallway with 3 doors, my mother's bedroom to the left, mine to the right, and the bathroom straight ahead. I carefully tiptoed my way across the kitchen floor, attempting to avoid sharp shards from broken dishes. Just a few inches from our hallway, my foot landed half on a glass cup, crushing it underneath with a low crunch. A rough grunt answered the sound, sending dread crawling into my stomach. The intruder was still there. As if waiting for that moment, a huge shape came barreling out of my mother's bedroom and slammed into me. My back struck the ground hard, and I felt a dozen pieces of sharp glass and ceramic dishes slice into my back. It was a man, and he smelled like body odor, alcohol, and oddly, garlic. I screamed, trying desperately to push him off with my limited strength, but he sat up and brushed my arms away as if he felt nothing. He was ugly, his face old and weathered from years of sun exposure, and a dirty grey beard took up the majority of his face. His breath hit me like an invisible wall as he laughed and tugged at my uniform blazer.
They say I'm a grumpy old man, but I'm really a grumpy old teenager.
Tugging it openly with 2 grubby fingers while the other hand held my wrist captive above my head. My guardian came just as my training bra came into view, and as last time, came as an invisible force that I could feel the moment it entered the room. This time, I wasn't nearly dead from strangulation, and I watched in equal parts fascination and horror as this invisible being lifted the old homeless man off of me and to the ceiling. He struggled there, gargling out obscenities and clawing at his neck as if he was being held by the throat. A snap punctured the air, and his body simultaneously went limp while his head whipped around 180 degrees. His body drifted a few inches to one side and then dropped to the floor with a sickening thump, and his face landed just inches from my own. His eyes were still open, frozen in shock and terror, and I could only gasp and lay there, partially exposed and shaking. My guardian hovered above me, still invisible, but I knew without looking that it was roughly the size of an adult man, and I somehow just knew that it was sad I'd been hurt before it arrived. I felt something else come from the creature, a sense of furious dedication. I think that was the moment it promised itself and me that I'd never come so close to danger again. I wish now it had just let me die. That was one intense story by NotReady2Adult. For me, it really captured the sense of agency in the Guardian, and the feeling of being saved in this story. And I enjoyed the emotions you're able to conjure up with the language that you used. Fantastic work. Now this Storytale Tellers doesn't end here. Oh no. Part 2 is coming up, and I can't wait to share it with you all. So stay tuned to this series. I think it'll be a 3-parter, so I hope you like it. Now for a very brief plug. If you have 2 seconds, give this channel a like, repost it if you can, and if you're new to the channel, hello, and feel free to follow. That way, you can get them as soon as I make them, fresh off the press, which happens to be weekdays daily. If you're on an Apple platform, ratings go a long way, and I appreciate any feedback. And dare I say, a 5 out of 5 star if I can get it. A big thank you to all of you as well. You listeners out there that make this channel what it is. So thanks. Well, Telltellers, this is the place where stories live and you Telltellers come to listen. Enjoy your day or night and join me every weekday for our creepy tradition. And as always, till next time.